Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how much money can you make from publishing a book. You can make quite a bit of money from publishing a book if you follow the tips in this video. By the end of this video, you'll learn why it's so important to write a great book if you want to have a big impact, and why rushing a book out isn't the answer. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a free opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. As somebody who's been a book ghostwriter for the past half-decade, it's been so meaningful and interesting for me to be a part of so many different book launches, to see so many books that I worked on reach publication. And some of them have a huge impact, and some of them don't have an impact at all. So it's been really neat for me to kind of look back and take stock in that and figure out what works and what doesn't work. One of the things that does not work is just rushing out a book. You know, I've worked with authors who just wanted to rush ahead, do this, and then we're publishing, not ramp up properly, not focus on building momentum for their release. They just thought, I'm going to have a book out. Just having a book out isn't enough. It's not enough. There's too many books written today for you to have a great impact if you just rush through and just push out a book. And here's why. We live in a review-focused world. Everything we look at is based on statistics and reviews and what other people are saying. So when you go to Amazon or you go online and people are interested in looking at your book and they see it has a bad rating, oh, this book's redundant, this book doesn't really say anything, it means other people aren't going to read it either. They're not going to be interested in taking the next step of buying it, of opening the cover. They're going to recognize that this isn't a high quality work, and they're not going to spend their time on it. They're going to spend their time working on something else, picking up a different book instead. They're not going to take the step that you want them to take, which is to read it and dive through it and want to work with you and collaborate. Additionally, if you're on Amazon and you have a rating below 4.0, oftentimes Amazon will diminish your reach, diminish your ability to reach new people. Your book will have less of an impact because of the rating. The rating's telling Amazon that this is not a high quality work, and as a result, Amazon is sending this book to less people. Less people are finding it in search results. They're not seeing it in other recommendations. You're missing this window. So you really need to focus on quality when you're writing a book. Quality is a standard. Quality is a baseline. If you don't have a high quality book, you're probably not going to have the intended impact. And if you're not having the intended impact, you're probably not going to make the revenue that you think you're supposed to get for this book. So again, rushing out a book, just clogging the space with another title is not the answer. The answer is a high quality product that reflects you, your personality, your values, your message, your story, what you stand for. All of these things are conveyed in a book. They send a message to the reader. And the reader wants to be wowed. They want to be led. They want to be excited. They want to learn something. By you being vulnerable and by you being open and you sharing your story, your ups and your downs, your successes, your failures, you give them a reason to be motivated themselves. You give them a reason to get excited, to be inspired. It's so powerful when you can inspire somebody, when you can shape somebody's viewpoint. And a book is a great opportunity to do that, to help them change their worldview. Ultimately with a book, you want the reader to have their life changed in some way by reading it, whether it's, being more open-minded about something, thinking about something differently, changing their habits or perspectives. You want them to learn something and carry it forward. When somebody talks about, oh, what are some books that you've read recently? You want them to say your book. Oh, this book moved me. I love this book. This book inspired me. You want to create something within somebody else. It's such an awesome thing to be able to have that impact, and you can do that with books. And by doing that, by having this awesome book, and by sharing this powerful message, it invites readers to take a journey with you, forward, beyond the book, to follow you on social media, to go to your website, to engage with you, to whatever it is. And with book writing, a lot of times that next step could be financial. It could be high-level coaching services. It could be coaching support. It could be a speech to an interest group. It could be anything. There's so many opportunities financially that can come from writing a book. But again, the biggest opportunities come from the best books, highest quality books. If you're writing low-quality books, you can still hand them to people, but what impact do you think it'll have? They're going to look at it, they're going to look at the cover, they're going to say, this isn't that exciting. Oh, this looks boring. Oh, this looks sloppy. They're just going to push it aside. You want them to pick it up and be wowed by it and be moved by it and want to keep reading. And you need to really be committed to this process. This isn't just about a book. This is about transformation. This is about a journey, and this is about moving people. And that's what is so awesome about books. You get to move somebody. You know, I've gotten letters from people who have said that, you know, the things I've written have changed their life, or I have gotten calls from clients who, years after we ended up working together, are still getting referrals and still getting opportunities and signing, contracts for $50,000 to $100,000 based on a book we wrote 2 or 3 years ago. It's incredible. It's incredible to have that kind of impact. So there's so many opportunities that can emerge financially and otherwise from writing a book. So you really don't want to sell yourself short, and you really don't want to speed through the steps of this process, because by taking the time to get it right, you can have huge impacts and huge benefits. One of the most important elements, if you're interested in making money off of a book, is a robust sales funnel. There has to be something more that the reader can do to work with you, to collaborate with you, to take that journey with you. It should be high value. It should be something that you can really build on. I'm not saying it's priced super high, but the lower the price point, it means the higher the volume, the higher the number of people that you need to bring in to have that financial impact. If you can offer something for $25,000, $50,000, $75,000, even if you only have 3 or 4 people make that leap, that's a huge opportunity. So it's really about pricing your services accordingly, understanding what you offer that is unique and different and special, that has an impact for people, and building that out. One of the best ways for you to make sure that your message is as strong as possible and that you write the best book possible is by working with a book ghostwriter like myself. Book ghostwriters are basically the hidden magicians, the people behind the scenes. Thus, ghostwriter, we are hidden. Every once and again, ghostwriters do get a little attention and visibility, but most of the times we're behind the scenes. And it's kind of exciting to be able to help other authors to tell their stories. I can be tech industry leader on one day and a musician on the other, and I can work on a book about anything, cross-country runners to something else. Any day it's something new. So it's really exciting to bounce around and work on different stories and projects and help authors uplift, to help authors take the next step in their journey. A lot of times when you see a book that's having a big impact, it's typically because there were people behind the scenes working on it. This wasn't just one author sitting in a room writing this book. It was a collaborative process, and I love that collaborative feel of working with authors, as a book ghostwriter. It's awesome to be able to bring their story out. It's not about me, it's about the authors I work with. And it's amazing to be able to see, the transformative nature that the book writing process can have, that the people I've worked with, some of them have been transformed. Some of them have, completely moved forward, or, found a new normal, or healed, or put things behind them, or feel more empowered to tackle life's obstacles, and it's great to see that. It's great to feel that heaviness lifting, and for them to really own their story for the first time. This is about owning a story and owning your story, and by working with a ghostwriter, you can help to accomplish that goal. If you want to learn more about how much money you can make publishing a book, I want you to visit my website. It's goodghostwriter.com. You can click the link below. And there you can book a one-on-one strategy call with me. I would love to talk and find out more about your story, find out the message that you're trying to share, the impact that you're trying to have, and explore if it's possible and if potentially we're even a good fit to work together. I have so many insights from my time in the book industry, and I would love to share them and help you on your way. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.